Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Blind Boys Politics. Nicholas Rod here, Chris Baker here with you on this Monday morning for another round of news. Chris, how are we starting off this week? What's the weather looking like?
In Los Angeles, California, it is partly cloudy 80. In Houston, Texas, it is partly cloudy and 98. And in Chicago, Illinois, it is partly cloudy 90. And New York City, partly cloudy 92. So essentially, it's going to be a hot one for this Monday morning.
The thing that shocks me the most about this is the fact that Chicago is actually going to be hotter than Los Angeles.
Yeah, well, everywhere is going to be hotter than Los Angeles.
Well, yeah, but I feel like Chicago surprises me the most because unless I'm completely crazy, when we do the weather, it
Mm.
always don't answer that question. Um, I feel like Chicago is like always the coldest city in our weather report. So it's just weird to see it above Los Angeles, especially by that much.
Well, I hope it made your day.
Oh, it definitely made my day.
You
Hopefully,
know,
hopefully.
I can't keep track of where's warmer, where's hotter, where's colder. I can barely keep track of myself.
My mind keeps track of like weird trends and stuff. I don't even mean to. It's just something that sinks in after a while. Just like, huh, this is happening. Like, I don't know. It's something that's always happened, really.
Well, that's just interesting because the only thing I can ever remember about the weather report is it seems like Houston's always hotter than LA.
Yeah, I mean, Houston does always seem to be our hottest city that we talk about.
Besides me.
You're a city,
Yep. But
but at
yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a nice week. Rain's finally leaving, thank God. Um,
least for a few days.
it's really not gonna be summer temperatures, it's gonna be more like fall temperatures, but that's fine. We go from 104 to 70, it's fine. We didn't need a summer anyways.
I mean, to me, this kind of change in temperature isn't even shocking anymore, um, because living here in New York, it just seems normal at this point. Like, nothing surprising about it anymore. One day it could be, like you say, like 104, and then it's going to be 70. So it's just kind of a normal occurrence at this point in my life.
Well, nevertheless, it seems like, we just get to talk about the weather and
People think though
complain
that
about how
weather.
cold it is and how hot it is. And
I gotta say though, people say that weather talk is always so basic and so, just small talk, but I find odd satisfaction from it, and I don't know if that says more about the weather talk or more about me.
this is more about you.
Quite possibly. I wouldn't be surprised.
It doesn't say much about you, just saying.
It just says something.
Because, you're over here having an interesting conversation about the weather, and here I am kind of looking out into space, looking at other things.
I don't know. I guess I can find I don't know if I'd call it satisfaction, but interest, something along those lines
You can find
about
the easiest way to put me to sleep.
I find like enjoyment or, interest in even the most simple conversations. Um, Things that people, like you said, would just like be bored at and snooze to. I'm just like, all right, I'll talk about this. Why not? What's the harm?
My boredom.
Too bad for you. You have to deal with me.
No, no, I don't.
Because sleep takes over.
No, I can just get rid of you.
Oh,
Find a new co-host.
glad to know that.
Have one that's more engaging than the freaking weather.
Eh, you know full well that we have some fun conversations on here. We place
No, but I can't believe
bets.
this is what we've chose to talk about is the weather.
It happens. It happens.
Could talk about the weekend, but no, let's talk about the weather.
Well, there's not much to say about the weekend unless you've had some magically eventful weekend that I didn't know about.
I got my chainsaw stuck up in the tree.
Um, how?
Well, anyone that's operated a chainsaw before knows no matter what, you need to follow through. You can never give up halfway through. And I know this, but I gave up halfway through.
It just got straight up stuck.
Yep, and it's still in the tree.
Oh boy.
I don't know how I'm going to get down because my ladder is not tall
Um, Let me know when you're going to try because I want to be there with a camera.
enough. So what happened essentially, a short story, was we have this big crabapple tree in the backyard, and it has points just sticking out, and it looks
Right.
really funky and weird.
Right.
So I'm chopping the points down. I'm up on the shed roof. Anyone that has a shed knows, or shed roof, they're very steep. And so I'm standing on that, and I'm cutting through it with the 14-foot chainsaw, and it starts to give loose, and it falls, and there's probably just two or three more cuts. But then I start to lose balance, and right at the same time, this limb starts flying towards me. Now, I should have known better. I should have followed through with it and just kept on going because if I would have continued to cut through it, the chainsaw would have held up my balance and my chainsaw wouldn't be stuck in the tree and the limb would still not be dangling. But I let go. Chainsaw went flying back with it.
Oh my
Tried to pull
god.
on it, did not work. Tried to pull on the limb, did not work. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow.
Oh no. You
And
just
anyone that
have that kind
listens
of
to
luck.
this that, from work, yes, I took a personal day to get the chainsaw out of the tree.
Oh my god, that's your kind of luck though. We've had plenty of these types of stories on this show in the past, and yeah, this just seems to be your luck, and I'm sorry.
No one wanted to be around me after that. I am not too happy about it.
I mean,
Because I mean
understandably so.
this chainsaw is not cheap.
No.
And I don't know if I've bent it all out of shape, what I've done. All I don't even want to talk about it.
Well, for your sake, I wish you luck, and I know everyone listening does too.
I hope I just fall off the freaking roof. Just top my week off.
I'll be hoping for your success. It'll
Yeah,
be in
that
my
can
mind.
happen. That won't happen.
I have faith in you. I have faith in you.
Shouldn't. You shouldn't.
But your one story, even if it's not the most, positive event, is still more eventful than my weekend was. It was a very quiet weekend. I was considering trying to go out bowling this weekend. It didn't happen. Um, I'll have to try and do that again here in the next couple of weeks because I really want to get back out to bowling or maybe even golfing. I just want to do something because these quiet weekends are fun. They're nice, but it gets stale. It really does. I, I don't feel like I do enough and I want to do more. And so hopefully I can make that happen here in the next
Well,
few
if you
weeks.
need something to do, just come to my house. There's plenty of trees to trim.
Yeah, no, I mean, oddly enough, as weird as it may sound, I'd probably kind of enjoy doing that. I wouldn't hate trimming trees.
Good, because that's what your future is going to look like, Sam.
Fun times.
Because I am too cheap to hire workers, especially if I can do it myself.
Yeah, right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
But I think it's time we get into the news. Starting off like every Monday with a COVID-19 update. Last week, there was a warning from the NFL to their teams. If there's a COVID outbreak and players are not vaccinated, prepare to forfeit and lose the game. The league has tried to get players vaccinated, and only 78% have gotten at least one shot. The NFL commissioner sent out a memo saying teams that cause a game to be canceled will be responsible for the financial losses, and players on both teams won't get paid. Experts say that the hope is as they return to training camp, they will get vaccinated for their 85% goal that was set.
DeAndre Hopkins, who has said he will not get vaccinated, said on Twitter, quote, being put in a position to hurt my team because I don't want to partake in the vaccine is making me question my future in the NFL, end quote. He later did delete the tweet, saying that he sees himself in the NFL for at least another 9 years. This is coming as the Delta variant is raging throughout the country. Cities are now urging residents to mask up, and on Thursday, the president started speaking out saying, we follow the science. Louisiana is currently experiencing spikes comparative to those that they saw in April of 2020, with only a third of its residents vaccinated at this time.
For those of you who are still waiting on your third stimulus payment, we got some news you're going to want to hear. The IRS announced last week, as of Wednesday, 2.2 million EIP3 payments were issued in just the last 6 weeks. Now, this is not a new stimulus check. This is the third stimulus check that most of you received back in March. This new batch went to people who never received it in the first place or received an incorrect amount.
So, who exactly got their missing payment? The IRS says that 1.3 million payments went to eligible people for whom the IRS did not have the information for, but finally got that information when their latest tax return was processed. Another 900,000 EIP3 stimulus payments were plus up payments issued to people who received the EIP3, but the amount that they got wasn't the correct amount because it was based off of their 2019 taxes. If you are still missing your third stimulus payment and you are not in the most recent batch, the IRS says don't worry, they will continue to send out payments throughout the summer.
Police say gun violence in Chicago is worse than it ever has, with an increase of drive-by shootings and over 7,000 illegal guns recovered this year alone. President Biden's Department of Justice is doing something about it. They are launching anti-gun trafficking strike forces in 5 cities, those cities being Washington, D.C., Chicago, Los Angeles, New York City, and San Francisco. These teams are going to try and chase down the illegal weapons before they end up on the streets. And the Attorney General is currently in Chicago working with the strike committee and the Chicago Police Department. In the hours prior to him arriving Friday morning, there were 18 people shot, and critics say adding more police will not solve the issue. They say we need more people involved to get people off the streets and get them stable jobs, housing, and food security.
Moving right along, there is a recall. Popular bags of carrots are being recalled because they might be contaminated with salmonella. The California company Grimway Farms voluntarily recalled the baby and shredded carrots. These carrots are also sold under the names Bunny Love, Purple Cow Organic, and O Organics. So far, there are no reported illnesses linked to the carrots.
After more than 100 years and decades of complaints, the Cleveland Indians are changing their name, which Native Americans and others found offensive. After this season, the Indians will become the Guardians, named after the Guardian statues that lead into the ballpark. Tom Hanks delivered the team announcement saying Cleveland has always been the best part of the team name.
Well, that's what we have for you on this Monday morning as far as the main news is concerned. Let's move into the rapid news. Twitter suspended GOP Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene again on Monday night after she shared information about COVID-19 that violated the company's misinformation policy.
A delegation sent to Haiti by President Biden left the country shortly after arriving when gunshots were heard at the funeral for assassinated President Jovenel Moise. Nick, what do you got for Monday morning good news?
So the story I have for this morning is honestly kind of like adorable in a way. It just brought a straight up smile to my face. So throughout the pandemic, 2-year-old Benjamin really hasn't been able to meet any other children, hasn't been able to really make any other friends or have any other interactions besides his own family. That was until he started spending time with his 99-year-old neighbor, Mary. Well, these two started out just, she would wave at him from her window when he was outside playing. And then they would start meeting up at the fences that separated their 2 yards. And, they just ended up spending more time together, became friends, and really kind of just became family. They would sit on the steps and blow bubbles together. They invented their own game. He would kick a ball to her, and she'd hit it back to him with her cane. They called it cane ball. And she even went as far as to uh, give him the old toy trucks, an entire box of toy trucks that had been her late son's before that. And, it just gave him a friend. It really gave him another family member when it all comes down to it. And it's just a really adorable story.
It really is a 2-year-old and a 99-year-old becoming friends, making their own game called Cane Ball, her giving um like an old toys and just an untraditional friendship that was formed, and it probably meant a lot to the both of them.
And, it's almost one of those things that you see in the movies. It's one of those friendships that you see in the movies now and again. And I don't
Oh, it
know.
most definitely, yeah. I know
And
what you mean, yes.
it just is a way to bring a smile to your face, no doubt, especially with all the hard times that have existed over the past year and a half. It's just nice to see cute little stories like that come out of it.
I agree with you 100%, yeah. That is a great good news story. That is the end of this Monday morning episode. Make sure you follow us on the Blind Boys Politics Twitter account for the latest 24-hour breaking news so you are always in the know. Follow us on our personal accounts to see what we're up to. Check out our most recent Medium articles. We always discuss topics that are going on in the news that we do not get a chance to talk about here. But until Wednesday mornings, dumb along. Everyone have a great start to your week.
Bye, guys.